Welcome back to Tuesday. Let's see what the vendors have for us today. Starting in the Scholarium, we have Bound Affix Script Expedition. Adds Expedition, a buff increasing movement speed. Bound Focus Script Bleed Damage. Adds Bleed Damage. And Bound Signature Script Immobilizing Strike. Adds an immobilization effect. Okay, let's head into the sewers. We've made our way to the sewers. Let's see what the Telvar merchant has.
Our leaders had a wonderful plan.
First up, we have Northern Elsewhere treasure maps. I don't think these are worth 6,000 Telvar. You can get them from guild traders cheap enough. But if you're curious, Northern Elsewhere brings us Call of the Undertaker, Crafty Elfique, and Vesture of Darlek Bray, as well as a chance for 4 different book furnishings. Just remember, you do need to know the eidetic memory of each of those books before you can collect them. If you're not sure how that works, there's an article in the description. All right, we have Bound Affix Script Cowardice. Adds Cowardice, a debuff reducing weapon and spell damage. Bound Affix Script Intellect and Endurance. Adds Intellect and Endurance, buffs increasing magicka and stamina recovery. Bound Focus Script Knockback. Adds a knockback. And Bound Signature Script Growing Impact. Adds enhanced buff and debuff application. Our first set of jewelry is Farstrider Amulet and Ring. Next up, we have Fragment of Rulaniel. This is one of 5 pieces of the Annulment Vibrant Yellow skill style, and the Fragment of Rulaniel is a guaranteed drop from the Green Shade Public Dungeon Rulaniel's Fall from the boss Onkal the Harbinger. Our leads, we have Aether Quartz Prayer Beads. These are part of the Pearls of Elnophi Mythic. This particular one drops off of all Auradon Delve bosses. Now, while the fragment here is a guaranteed drop, so I don't think it's worth 5,000 Telvar, the leads, of course, are not guaranteed. So you'll probably spend some time trying to get this one. If that time is worth 25,000 Telvar to you, you can just pick it up here. Our second lead is Mind Cleaver Loop. This is part of Mark and Ring of Majesty. And this one drops off the Deadlands World Boss Unmaker. I do think this one's probably worth it. I'm guessing it's a little bit more difficult these days to get a group for Unmaker, so grabbing it here wouldn't be a horrible idea. And then finally, to wrap up this vendor, we have Necklace and Ring of the Century. Okay, time to head over to Infinite Archive. We've made our way to Infinite Archive. Let's see what we've got. All right, first up we have a book, A Feast Among the Dead, Chapter 1. This one drops out of Infinite Archive, but the eidetic memory comes from Necrom in Telvanni Peninsula from Mourner Solace's Inn. We have Vardenfell treasure maps. Yet again, I would not snag this here. It's going to be way too cheap on traders to be worth 2,000 archival fortunes. But if you're curious, Vardenfell maps bring us a chance for Defiler, War Maiden, and Warrior Poet. Our scripts, we have Bound Affix Script Defile, adds Defile, a debuff reducing healing received. Bound Focus Script Frost Damage, adds Frost Damage. And Bound Signature Script Anchorite's Potency, adds a Consumed Soul Gem to grant ultimate effect. Next up, we have Style Page, the Blind Mask. This mask drops out of Bedlam Vale during a very limited window. You have a better chance of getting the style page if you have the hard mode, but as with all masks, the drop rate is horrible. I think this is definitely one to buy this week. Next up, we have Companion Equipment Light Armor. Remember, when you buy companion equipment this way, it is bound, and you're at the mercy of RNG as to what trait you get. This is not my favorite, but if you have extra archival fortunes and your companions need some gear, light armor is available this week. Our patterns this week are pretty exciting. We have Diagram Redguard Sensor Hanging Horn. This one on PCNA has 3 listings from 1.2 to 1.5 million. And on EU, they range 3 to 3.5 million. I think there were only 2 listings. Yeah, only 2 listings, one for 3 and one for 3.5. Definitely worth getting if you need it. Next up, we have Dwarven Theodolite Shoulder. This, of course, is part of the Dwarven Theodolite Pet. These pieces drop out of the Vardenfell Public Dungeon, Nutcha Leftingth. The drop rate is pretty good. I recommend at least getting some that way. Otherwise, I would honestly just get it from a guild trader at about 500 gold a piece. I think that beats 3,000 archival fortunes for sure. Our second book this week is Gracchus's Journal Volume 1. This one drops from Scrivener's Hall, and the eidetic memory is in the public dungeon in Reaper's March, the Vile Manse. Next up, we have our leads. We have Sylarn Crafted Yoke, which is part of the Saint and the Seducer. This one drops from Maelstrom Arena from the first chest after that first boss. I don't think this one's too terribly difficult to get, and you can get it in normal. But if you prefer to avoid arenas, it is here for 5,000 archival fortunes. Our second lead is Dwarven Breastguard. This is part of the Ebon Dwarven Wolf. This lead drops from the Earth Forge, which you need to have completed the Fighters Guild quest line to get to. It'll be labeled as Curious Dwemer Rubble in Pressure Room 3 near the Orgnum Scales Clothier Station. So this one's a little bit more difficult to get. All right, Malographic Ichor, I do not recommend this. You need 50 of them to unlock the Ichor Most Malevolent achievement and the Malographic Mount. The mount is the first thing you get, the pieces, when you do dailies in Infinite Archive. So if you do 50 dailies, you've got the mount. If you're short a couple, great, but buying all of them this way would be very expensive. You'll be running a lot of Infinite Archive anyway. You may as well just be doing the dailies. All right, Momentum Vibrant Yellow. This is a complete skill style that you can purchase from Madge Alragath for 20 Undaunted keys at the Undaunted Enclave in Deshawn, Grotwood, or Stormhaven. So at this point, you just need to decide what's worth more to you, 20 Undaunted keys or 10,000 archival fortunes. But either way, it is available this week. And then our second plan is Praxis Elsewhere Fountain for Lions. Runs about 100,000 gold on PCNA, a little bit cheaper on PCEU at about 55 to 65k. Definitely still worth getting though. And our final plan is Praxis Floating Apocrypha Bookcase Shell. This one is 10,000 archival fortunes, not our typical 2,000 for plans. This one runs about 100,000 on PCNA, and then anywhere from 33 to 123k on PCEU, but it averages about 50k on PCEU. So not quite as worth it as some of our other plans, but I do feel like this one's a little bit more difficult to get, so I still think it's probably worth it. All right, let's run some Infinite Archive and see what new gear is dropping this week. All right, we just ran some Infinite Archive, and it looks like this week we have gear dropping from Starter Zones, which is just Armor of the Trainee, but also from Blackwood, which includes Bog Raider, Deadlands Assassin, and Frostbite. Remember, you have a chance to get Ivory Brigade clasps when you break down Frostbite. Ivory Brigade clasps are running about 6,600 to 8,300 gold on PCNA, and they run 6k and up pretty much on PCEU. So probably not worth it to come here just for this, but if you need an extra little nudge, this could be it. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.